is up, everyone? Just get my phone to stay in place. In case we want to show off any figures here. I guess we can show off my new figure. And of course, it's not on. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Ooh. How is everyone? If you guys don't know, WEW is our guest for today. Make sure to go follow him. I'm not sure what his stuff is all called, but he'll be in here, so make sure to go follow him when he joins in. But yeah, if you guys got any questions at all, feel free to put them in the question thing. We're doing a Q&A throughout the whole interview here. Yeah, my fiance just got me this, so I just wanted to show off something. Instead of you just looking at my ring, you can look at this newish figure. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, feel free to put them in the question bubble down there. So probably we'll ask them throughout the whole live stream. So yeah. Hopefully we get some decent views in here for WEW, which he said he was ready. What's her name? That is Mandy Rose. You probably know her more from OnlyFans now, but yeah. But she looks like a good figure. I mean, I really hate the women's figures because they all suck at posing or standing. But we'll see with this one. But yeah. I do like this. This could be added to anyone. Kenny Omega could wear it, like cut off one wing and have him wear it in there, like backwards or something. I don't know. It's a decent accessory, I guess. It's an alright figure. I got a bunch of new women already in the Fed. If you guys saw Riot, make sure to go watch Riot, by the way. And now we get WEW in here. We do. Except.
Good.
What's up, man? How's it going? I'm good. So, what's that WEW stand for to start off?
It's World Extreme Wrestling.
World Extreme Wrestling. Okay. So, I always try to get a feel of how long someone's been doing this. So, let's start off with like a little backstory of your Fed from the start to now, if you can.
I'm gonna say I started about like 2 years ago. I used to watch a lot of Feds on YouTube and stuff, and a lot of stop motion. That was because I'm pushing 25 here soon, and a lot of the stuff I was watching when I was a kid was stop motion, and I always wanted to get into it. So once I became an adult, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get back into collecting. And then I found out about Pick Fed, and I was just like, you know what, it's worth jumping into. So 2 years going on with doing Fed. I took a little a break there for a while from doing it on YouTube and just lost the passion for a little while. And then my fiance was like, you know what, you used to do really good with it. Why not just give it another shot, see if you really can get into it again? And here we are now.
Be honest, so far been a really great start off. You just recently, you're having a joint show with House of Figures Wrestling, and he's got a big following. He's up to, I'm sure he's to 2,000 by now, because last time I saw it was like 1,500, and the day before that, it was 1,000. He seems like he keeps going up and up. So working with him is going to help you a lot. But yeah, so you returned. You took a little break. You returned back. Oh, I thought I had this written down. Guess not. But the Welcome to the Jungle pay-per-view was your return. Kind of go through the process of what were you thinking? What were you wanting to do for your bigger
I
tournament?
wanted to just, I used to only do, like I said, YouTube. So coming back, I was like, you know what, let me just do the Fed a little bit different. Let me jump into the Instagram game, pick Fed, and go from there with it. So I just wanted to catch a different fan base, per se, catch the eye of everyone that does pick Fed and get into that, ballpark. And my biggest thing was to finally have the Fiend defend his championship against Darby Allin, because for people who haven't really watched the Fed on YouTube or don't really know much of my Fed, I actually had the Fiend win the championship, and he was the second ever champion, defeating Adam Cole, and has remained champion all the way until this very day. So he's pushing roughly 2, almost 3 years as WEW champion. So I wanted to finally fulfill Darby Allin versus The Fiend. It was supposed to originally be a barbed wire death match, but because of circumstances, I wasn't able to get the barbed wire for the rope. So I said, you know what, I'm going to come up with something different and use the coffin and put some barbed wire in there, and that just be the big, really shebang for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll kind of go off that. So 2 to 3 years as champion for your world champion. I noticed Roman Reigns just recently beat a few guys for the Internet Championship, and Hangman came in from behind and attacked him after the match in episode 3 here. What are your other champions, or do you have any others, or do you just have 2?
As of right now, I only have the 2, but I do have a tag team division. I'm slowly working on bringing them back up, slowly collecting a little bit more of the tag teams to get back into that ballpark. Last set of champions was the Usos, and they won their championship, defeating the Young Bucks, New Day in a triple threat ladder match, and that's on the YouTube.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, nice. So, on YouTube, were you still World Extreme Wrestling, or were you something else?
I stood with the World Extreme Wrestling. When I came back to it, I was debating on changing it, and I did a poll one time, and a lot of people were just like, keep the same name and just keep going with it, just do it on Instagram instead. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I feel like switching over to Instagram is a really smart thing to do, because I started on Facebook, went to YouTube, and now I finally got on Instagram, and it feels like I've blown up. So Instagram's a really good place for pick fitting. So what Darby and The Fiend was a big rivalry you had. What are some current rivalries that are going on, and what do you think's your biggest rivalry that you've done, either in YouTube or now on Instagram?
I feel like so far the biggest rivalries that I have going on is The Fiend is slowly being targeted by a couple people, and there's going to be a pretty big payoff in the long run. Right now, Darby and Adam Cole is the Fiend's biggest issue right now at hand, as posted on episode 3. The Fiend is going to be defending his championship against Adam Cole and Darby Allin in an Iron Man match, but this Iron Man match is going to be at Extreme Rules, and that's going to happen at House of Extreme. So that's a big one going, along with Hangman going to be taking on Roman for the Internet Championship in a death match. And then I also have a couple different matches to announce. I'm going to be doing a Money in the Bank ladder match, actually, that's going to be included in the show. So a lot of big stuff going down. But for anyone that gets into the Fed, for sure, keep a very close eye on how things turn out at House of Extreme, because after House of Extreme is going to start the road to WEW WrestleMania. So it's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on, but it's safe to say that The Fiend has more than just 2 people that he's going to have to handle possibly at WrestleMania if he makes it out of that triple threat Iron Man match.
Oh wow. Sounds like a lot of crazy stuff going on in there. Is there any other matches? Maybe has House of Figs came up with any matches, or how do you split that kind of stuff up? I haven't done any joint shows really. So how do you split that up, and what's the process of putting one
I've
of
done
those
a
together?
few with another couple pick betters a while back, and we did a Juice World tribute show. And whenever we did it, we would pick like, okay, you do 4 matches, I'll do 4 matches, and we're just gonna go from there. Like whatever fits your guys' storyline, we just come together and just do the show.
All right. So not anything too difficult, I guess. So you just mentioned your WrestleMania coming up. What are some other future stuff coming up? Is any matches set for WrestleMania yet, or what are some of your plans going forward?
Coming forward, a lot of the matches, I personally have in my mind dead set on a couple matches that's going to be coming out, but a lot of it is going to be slowly starting that official road to WrestleMania after the show with House of Figures. So a lot of the matches and stories are going to slowly pull themselves together in a beautiful puzzle. I know for the joint show, I'm also going to be doing a Fatal 4-Way match. It's going to be Kenny involved in it and Seth Rollins and 2 more guys. I can't remember who I have written down on the top of my head, but I believe it's Moxley and one other person. But that one's going to be a Fatal 4-Way, and winner of that goes on to be #1 contender for the WEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh wow. Sounds like you got a lot of stuff coming up. So you got WrestleMania, you got this joint show with House of Figs coming up. Uh, how many episodes of your weekly or whatever I guess you can just say weekly show? How many more episodes of that do you think is gonna take to lead into
I'm going to
WrestleMania?
say maybe at least another 3 episodes, pushing 4. Just want to make sure everything falls into place, because once WrestleMania happens, it's going to be the main event for the championship is it's just the best way to describe it is a beautiful monster ball.
So we'll kind of get into some of your favorites here. Name off some people. What are some of your favorite pick fedders right
Um,
now? Could be video fedder,
my
pick feds.
It's a little cliche, but WSC is somebody I really look at that really caught my attention to get back into the pick fed game, and even to start up doing the YouTube, and then also I believe it's WAF, I believe it is.
Hmm. I think if WAF sounds familiar. There's a WAF, probably 10 of
Yeah,
them. So
and then also AOWP, I think it is. Yeah, that's another one. He
yeah,
actually hooked me up with the Billy belts to get my belts done.
yeah, I've been wanting to do that, but I'm very tight on money, so just the little tiny things worth $20 is just feel like it's just
Yeah, I
not
get
worth it
that.
at the time when I could
Yeah.
get a whole figure. So, are there any feds you just think is overrated? Some guys that have a bunch of followings, or just what are some pick feds that you don't really enjoy? Like what type of pick
Um,
feds?
Really not too sure. I just follow who I follow, and everybody does their thing, and I just love to see it. You know, for me, if I had $1 million right now, I would put half of it into my personal life. The other half I would put into figures and, you know, helping out the little guys. Because at the end of the day, even when I first started doing this stuff on YouTube, I seen so many like young kids that did pick that wanted to do pick fed and just do it for fun that just got bullied to just because somebody thought they were overrated or, you know, that what they have isn't as good.
Yeah. Well, what are some of your favorite matches? Could be in wrestling now or way back or in figure form. What's some of your favorites that you remember and stick with you?
One the one of my most recent favorites had to have been the Hangman and Moxley last night. I was definitely all over that, watching it very closely. And then from like my past, hands down, greatest match in my opinion of all time was Mankind versus Undertaker. That Hell in the Cell spot right off of that steel, right off of the Hell in the Cell, and then another one is because I actually was lucky enough as a kid. My dad took me to see back in 2005 SummerSlam in Washington, D.C., and I got to witness the ladder match for Dominic. Yeah, so that was
Oh wow.
pretty cool.
Wow.
Something I'll never forget.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's insane to think that someone so young got to see something like that. So you just mentioned you saw the AEW pay per view. You've been to WWE events. What how do I want to word this? I guess what are you more of a fan of? Are you more of a WWE guy? Are you more an indie wrestling guy? New Japan AEW guy? What's your cup of tea when it comes to wrestling?
I would say I'm more of a WWE guy. I just recently started getting more into the independent scene. Once AEW started to go on weekly shows and when they even started up their first pay-per-views and stuff, it caught my attention like, wait a minute, there's a lot more than just NXT, TNA, and stuff like that. So then I started looking into, um, mm, still a little bit more a WWE guy and then AEW. And then sometimes I like to watch the indies and see, you know, what new guys are coming out and who's moving up and stuff in the rosters and going around to different companies. I think that's just cool to see now, knowing a lot more about the littler companies.
Hmm. We got a fan question here. Yes, what's your favorite underrated wrestler? You said the reason could be because of great character work or
Um,
in-ring work,
I would say
which is a good
Dan
question.
Helsing. I just feel like he can
Hmm.
go almost similar to Orange Cassidy, especially last night's showing. Like he showed that okay, I don't have to use that evil gimmick just to get, you know, to actually put on that good performance. I feel like in the beginning he was just like, okay, he's a little bit of a joke, but I feel at first I was like, and then now he's slowly coming out of that shell showing more and I'm like, oh wait, he actually can throw down just like OC.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to see more of wrestling by him, but I enjoy his figure things with
Yeah.
Ethan Page and stuff. So I do like Dan Hevlin as well. So what was my favorite? All right, what is your favorite weekly show? What's the show you try to watch every single week? Maybe it's live or you
I
record.
would have to say SmackDown and AEW Dynamite. Those are the main two that I always, if I miss Monday Night Raw, I'm not really that stressed about it. I just let it slide. But definitely Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Dynamite.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm more of an AEW guy. I always watch Dynamite and Rampage whenever I can. So I don't have SmackDown on I have Sling, so I can't really watch SmackDown. So I might have to maybe watch I watched some clips on YouTube, but that's about it. So there's a lot of moments in wrestling. Name a few: the CM Punk beating John Cena and leaving the arena and at Money in the Bank. You mentioned the spot from when Mankind got thrown off the Hell in a Cell. What are some moments that you remember and is just going to stick with you just for that? Just wow, big giant moment just happened. And
I think,
yeah.
like I said about the Undertaker one, but another one that I remember as a kid seeing on TV live was when Jeff Hardy hit the swanton off of the stage onto Randy Orton. Like, to this day, I'll never forget. Like, as a kid, I popped like crazy. I was like, what the hell just happened? Well, that's something to me. Like, I'll always remember. Like, I always thought that was so cool. Any spot really by Jeff as a high risk one is always just fun to see, in my opinion.
Right, exactly. So we'll try to do a little Mount Rushmore here. What's your Mount Rushmore of
Hands
wrestlers?
down, Undertaker would be one of them. Brock Lesnar, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns would be four guaranteed on Mount Rushmore for me of wrestlers.
Oh wow, it's a different. A lot of people put Undertaker on there, but the other three are guys you normally don't see. You normally see like maybe a Ric Flair and a Hogan on there and a John Cena. So it's great to have someone that has different taste. So Undertaker, you mentioned you like him a lot. You've liked one of his matches. He's a really story based type wrestler because of his character. You got to base it all in stories to make stuff make sense. What are some storylines that you liked and that you would, well, The Fiend as well has a bunch of storylines. What are some storylines that you liked and that you would want to probably into, how do I say that word? Implement that into your Fed.
Um, I would say, um, as far as like Undertaker storylines, one of my favorite was a lot of the ministry work. Like, I thought whenever he faced Big Boss Man at WrestleMania and hung him from the Hell in the Cell, I thought that was just insane.
Yeah.
For me, as far as like taking what I see on TV and trying to build it into the Fed, I like a lot of the stories that Bray Wyatt does, and some of like the older Undertaker stuff, for sure, especially the ministry stuff. I'm just more of that like darker style fan. And also a lot of anything ECW, like RVD, stuff like that, like the extreme field. To me, I feel like if you see a steel chair thrown in there and it's a table and some crazy spots, like that just makes it so much more of that wow pop and factor.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got another fan question here. He's wondering if you ever watched any WCW from '94 to '98.
I don't think I really ever have. Um, Very little.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a part of that time, so I don't really go back and watch a lot of wrestling. I'm not a huge fan of going back and watching just random shows of wrestling. Maybe I'll go back and watch a pay-per-view once in a while, but yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
that big of a
I'm
fan.
more of a, I watch a pay-per-view here and there, more like the 2000s and stuff, a little bit more like the familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I like documentaries. I love the WCW WWF War documentary. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
Can't say it. But you know what I'm trying to say. I like those kind of stuff. But going back and just watching old WCW Nitro is just not
Right.
something I feel appealing. So Where was I? We did that one. We did that one. You mentioned Jeff Hardy just a second ago. So, what are some of your favorite tag teams?
I want to say Lucha Bros, the Hardy Boys, Brothers of Destruction. For a while there, it was Rated RK Bro. That was another one of tag teams that I was really into, and Young Bucks for sure, and the Usos. So I got a good little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, I got a few that I like. I'm trying to build a tag team division just like you are. So tag teams are always fun. Maybe putting them in pick fed format's not always as fun because you have to use four guys and it's hard to get them all included and have a good looking match. But we have another question here. He's asking, what was your favorite Ministry member?
Hmm. It's kind of hard because Undertaker, Undertaker being like the biggest
Right?
part of the whole thing, really going with the flow. Um, I'm really not too sure who my favorite would be out of the group.
All right. So, you mentioned a lot of your favorite moments in your favorite shows and matches. Some of those have been on pay-per-views. What is one of your most favorite pay-per-view? It could be the 2011 Money in the Bank, is a lot of people's. Could be WrestleMania 17, which is a lot of people's answers. What's your favorite pay-per-view show?
Favorite pay-per-view? Trying to think here because I got a few. Um, I think it would honestly have to boil down to I think it was WrestleMania 30 when Bryan beat won the triple threat, and then it was like a bittersweet. It was like great, Bryan won, but then Taker losing. It was like looking back on it, like
Yeah.
it in that time, it was like, oh shit, this really sucks. Taker really lost. Fine, like never
Right.
expected it to be Brock the way the story was kind of going, but then at the same time, it's like eventually it's going to happen. So looking back on it, seeing how it all played out with Brock being the one to beat the Undertaker, it kind of makes sense in the long run because looking at it truly, like who really could sit there and say, okay, would we have rather it be Roman, this is my yard Roman, or the Beast Incarnate? I'll take
Yeah.
Beast
Right.
Incarnate any day. So that
Yeah.
WrestleMania for me was pretty good. That's one of like my favorite pay-per-views, along with when Bray and Taker finally had their match.
Mhm. So you mentioned you're going through. I think he's called Bad Billy Belts or something like that. What are some of your favorite championship designs that kind of helped you go for your designs on your titles that you got made? What's some of your favorite
Um,
championship designs?
Some of my favorites is the NXT Tag Team belts. That's a design that I got done pretty similar to the belts that I have currently for the tag team. And then as far as the World Heavyweight, a lot of it was very based similar to the ECW Classic belt, along with I liked that. I wanted to do almost like a mix of the WWE Championship with the ECW style. Like I still want to have that,
Yeah.
hard hitting style looking belt, but at the same time, I still wanted to keep it at everyone like seeing like, okay, this is extreme style wrestling. Like I wanted my Fed to be more pushed towards like a ECW style, not a WWE ECW, just old fashioned ECW.
Yeah. Well, someone asked here, what's your favorite Randy Orton
Um,
match?
I would say Mick Foley versus Randy, that hardcore match that they had.
Yeah, that's pretty good one. That whole I think that was part of the Legend Killer gimmick. I don't know if that started the Legend Killer gimmick, but yeah, that I mean any era of Randy Orton was
Yeah.
pretty great, to be
Randy's
honest.
just one of those wrestlers,
So
like, even in a Fed, you could throw Randy in most matches, like, and you could do a lot with him, storyline wise, just, throwing it in an exhibition style match, like, Randy, you could do a lot with.
yeah, so I kind of want to get a feel of your figures. What are some of your favorite figures to use in pick fitting and just in general for collecting?
For using anything Ultimate, for me, I just love um, how easy it is to use in hand, because all the double joints and the butterfly joints and even some of the older ones that they had. Um, I feel like Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Ultimate, the original one, when I first got it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Also had Triple H and the Shawn Michaels at one point, and those were one of my favorites to pose with. That's a video I have on my YouTube still. Last YouTube video I did match-wise was Triple H versus The Fiend. And that posing them and using them in that match was just, it was like a masterpiece. Like, it felt so smooth in hand to use. And also, like, for collecting and stuff, a lot of what I collect is more like newer guys and stuff. Like, if I see like a Ministry Undertaker or Mick Foley, like a lot of the stuff that back whenever I first started, I was just buying just to buy at one point. Like, I had a friend in my area that owned a toy store, so he would throw me deals on loose figures he would find in store. So I would just get whatever. But now I'm just more like, okay, I'm gonna get who exactly I want, rather than I'm just not gonna get just because to say I have it. So I go for
Right.
a lot now of who can I use in the Fed, and before I buy something, I'll weigh out like pros and cons. Like, okay, if I get this figure, can I really do a lot more than just one or two matches and it just sit on a shelf?
Right. Yeah, that's something tough to do, and when you're in a pick fed and looking to buy figures. So, but yeah, that's kind of my way of buying figures. I try to buy guys I would want to use in the Fed, um, like this Mandy Rose. I don't have any plan for her, to be honest, but I mean, new figure with double jointed arms, and she could be a great part of the
Yeah.
women's division. So yeah, going after people that are going to be in the Fed is how I do my figure shopping. Which I got a lot of figures still that I want to be in the Fed, but my roster's already getting pretty big, so I might have to do something about that. So, but what are some of your favorite? Wait, no, we just asked this one. What is your favorite part about pick fed?
I feel like for me, my favorite part about pick fetting is the fact that it doesn't matter like what figures you use and stuff. You can do anything with them. Like, for me, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, why don't you just play, 2K or something?" And to me, it's like, yeah, I could play 2K, but does 2K have Kenny Omega? Does 2K have, AEW people in it? No. Can I create a character? Yeah, but with PickFed, I could pick up the figures and do all these crazy things, all these cool things that to me is fun, cool, that can't be done on a video game, or that probably won't even happen on live TV nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, that's always one of the fun parts about doing this, just the imaginations and things you can do with it. So, got another question here. We got a question asked: what is a dream match you'd like to do for your
A
Fed?
dream match that I would like to do for my Fed. one I've been really contemplating now that the AEW is coming out with Hook. Something I've been wanting to do is build up Hook and actually have him go on to face Roman and have Hook's wrestling style in the Fed more of his how he is now with a hybrid kind of mix of that ECW style Taz and have him go on to try and dethrone Roman and it'd be Roman at a pretty decent length streak as champion. So that's something really that for me doing as a Fed would be just absolutely awesome. Another match that I was wanting to do when I was doing YouTube, I bought the figure and everything, and it got lost in shipping, which sucked. It was a TNA Abyss, and I was going to do a Monsters Ball match and have The Fiend defending against Abyss, Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy, Kenny Omega, and Brock. And it just be all out. At the time, I had a homemade staircase that went up to a crowd rafter and a whole bunch of a bigger setup. So it was going to be all crazy, like the nonstop. Just go, go, go.
Yeah, having an Abyss and a Big Fed is cool because he's just a figure not a lot of people have, and the TNA figures aren't too good on articulating or using and fedding, so having those older figures mixed in with the new figures is something different and you don't see a lot. So hopefully you can find an Abyss one day and cap them in your Fed. So we'll go off into the kind of go off of that question I just asked. What are the worst parts about pick fitting? What are things that just make you want to just go on and quit again and not do it ever again, or you just need to take a break for a few seconds, or you're gonna rage and break something?
For me, it's first of all, if a figure is not posable, it's very loose, or like my Roman Reigns when I first got it, the bicep was all but ready to completely rip in half, and it's like, oh great, like I'm about to use this guy for to become a champion, and it's already going to shit. So it's like, great, here we go. And then another thing, like even back when I was doing the YouTube stuff, like I was trying to be consistent. I was doing it more almost like a WSC style where he would just post matches just randomly, not even have too much of a story. And even then, like after a while, it's like doing so much, it's like, okay, how can I keep it consistent with a storyline and still keep it at a pace that I'm not like, pumping out a whole bunch of episodes and then just get burnt out. So for me, it's like the creative aspect is there, but it just gets drained too quick after just banging out show episode after episode after episode. So for me, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm throwing in the flag. It just gets too much, and then don't want to disappoint people neither.
Yeah. Yep. I feel you on that. I feel. So we'll try to go into a little happier question here, a little bright side of this. Recently, AEW released a bunch of new stuff coming out. WWE always has stuff coming out. I guess we could say Mattel, Jazzwares. But what are some of the new figures you're wanting? You mentioned you want the Hook figure. What are some other
definitely ones? That Supreme Lucha Bros and the Blood and Guts CM Punk 2-pack, especially because the dog collar and just that outfit in general, I think is just freaking awesome. Really hoping they come out with a ROH line though for the for figures and stuff, so that way we can get some classic Daniel Bryan attires, even just to head swap it. If you don't like the younger looking Bryan and you want to just head swap it, but you like that outfit.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, and have maybe like a Jay Lethal who doesn't really have a figure. I mean, you can get the TNA one, but not very
Right.
good because the head's
The
huge
dinosaur
and it's,
figures.
but yeah, yeah. There's a lot of new stuff I'm wanting. The Blood and Guts pack that you just mentioned. The only thing that I don't like is that the CM Punk trunks are bloody, but I guess just still use that for a normal gear, I guess. But it's not as good as
Right.
just a plain white trunks. But they'll probably release that. Hopefully, they're still doing the Supreme CM Punks. So hopefully, we'll still get that. Or I think they're doing what's it called? Illuminaries CM Punk. I can't remember, but yeah, hopefully CM Punk stays in AEW and they keep pumping
Yeah,
out figures
I
for him.
think honestly, I think CM Punk's probably staying because realistically, if he wasn't that he would have never signed off on, yeah, you guys can go ahead and pump out the figure, the 2-pack, because it's been sitting for so long waiting for it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, what are some things you'd want to change or add to your pick fed?
Definitely the tag team division is something that I would like to add people into and start building up again. One thing I would change about my pick bed currently would be my stage and ring setup. I'm looking to try and get the Raw ring and get some custom ring skirts. That's something I would like, and try and figure out a way to make a crowd scaffold, like a little crowd setup, so I can have some cool spots from the top of the crowd. That's just something I love to do.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I've kind of got a crowd up area, but I'm not going to have figures in it. I'm making cutouts of cardboard people from Facebook that wanted to be in there. So still working on it, but hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. So, what are kind of go off the arena? You wanted to change some things. I don't know if you can show to people watching, but could we get a glimpse of your arena and how you got to set it up, or how you have it
Um,
set up?
I currently am staying in a different room with I don't have the I'm not in the room with the arena where I would.
Uh,
I just kind of have right now just my crowd set up on some foam boards on my wall and stuff, and got the AEW ring, and I made out of a couple pieces of wood and foam board the little entrance ways, and the centerpiece is just foam board with LED lights behind it. But I'm looking to try and tweak it a little bit and make maybe just one entrance way and make it like a bigger squared stage. Something I really want to do is similar to a older ECW style stage where it connects directly to the ring. Try and figure something out there, but still keeping that my own version of it, like bumping it up to if ECW had the same money that WWE did type of look.
yeah. Hmm. Well, oh. So we mentioned this. We'll start into getting how you would help someone. How would you help someone that's just starting out a pick fed? What would you tell them to get them going?
I would tell them just the biggest thing is don't let anybody tell you how to do your fed, and don't let anybody discourage you. Haters gonna hate, and at the end of the day, if this is what you enjoy, this is what brings you happiness, this is your go-to place that makes you happy, that you can just, get your hands on the figures and do what you want to do, and it's fun to you, and it just clears your mind and stuff, then go with it. Like, who cares what everybody else says, how many likes you get on your post? Like, yeah, that's great to have likes and all, but at the same time, all that it boils down to is if you're doing it and you love what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree on that. So, kind of piggyback off that, how would you grow your pick fed? What's the ways you would suggest to help someone get some followers, help get some fans, some people to come and watch your show?
Definitely one way I would say is you know, go look around at other people's stuff, get some ideas of what you like or what would feel best for you. Even like message people like, hey, would you mind checking out my Fed? Just trying to be word of mouth with it on social media. And even like trying to throw some guys offers for like doing joint shows and stuff. Because that always brings in new eyes, and also it also can benefits the other person. It helps you and that other person because somebody from my Fed might not know about your Fed, and vice versa.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's some great advice there on both questions. Appreciate that. Um, where was I? So, kind of get back into your Fed more. What are some figures that you use as jobbers? I had someone ask this question a long few weeks ago on a different uh, live, and I added to this my question list here, and I thought it was a really unique question to ask. So, what are some guys you have as jobbers?
Right now it's mainly been Rey Mysterio and Karrion Kross. Those two right now have been kind of jobbers at the moment. I try to, as far as like the figures and people, I try to avoid the jobbers because at the end of the day, like it could be 1 minute you could lose two, three, five matches, and then the next minute you're winning the net a couple more.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the jobber aspect of pick fetting is something you should have, to be honest, so you can, especially if you're doing a record system, which I do. I put down everyone's win and loss stuff. So if you want to get one of your top guys some quick wins so he can get back up in the rankings, I'd throw him against someone like a Bo Dallas or something. So I think having jobbers is pretty useful. So, oh, we lost him. We lost him. Or he just left. Well, off that, we're pretty close to the end. I don't think I had any other questions other than I'd probably ask him about Revolution. Maybe he'll join back in. This is a good time for everyone to ask questions for me or WW in case he joins back in. But yeah, thanks everyone that watched. Our next guest is Killer Boy. If you guys don't know who that is, REW is our next guest. So stay tuned for that next week. He's one of the younger kids out there doing this stuff and want to get to know him, I guess. Get to know his Fed and stuff. So hopefully you guys can all come back and watch that next week. Probably do it at 7 unless he wants to change the time. Anytime works, so as long as I'm off work. So yeah, Killer Boy is next week. WW gets back in here. We'll ask him about Revolution. I guess we can ask you guys, what were your thoughts on Revolution? Did you guys get your everything right? Did you answer the right questions? Did you get a piece of that $25,000 or whatever from? But what were your guys' thoughts on Revolution? Anyone watch Revolution? Did you buy it? Did you pirate it online on watchprowrestling.org or whatever? I ended up buying it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good as well. One of the best pay-per-views to date, yeah. Yeah, the main event helped a lot. Honestly wasn't expecting too much of the main event. I thought it'd get boring, but they proved me wrong. Fiance's always pissed when MJF's on screen, which is great because he's doing his job. And I love MJF. He's my favorite, and it's so much fun watching her get pissed off about it. For me, match of the night was probably MJF, Mox Hangman. The ending, I will say the ending was really brutal for the Mox Hangman. But I mean, it was kind of really stupid because Mox literally wrapped the chain around his neck 2 seconds before, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna get choked out. That was just too much setup. He could have at least done wrapped it around his head, looking for a headbutt or something with it. But yeah, I just saw that ending coming once he wrapped that around his neck. But oh, we got him back in here. Except,
Hey, sorry about
hey
that.
man,
Stupid thing.
no, you're good. You're good. I was just ending this off. No, you're fine, man. I was just ending off the live here, asking about Revolution and everyone's thoughts on it. And I announced the next guest is Killer Boy, aka REW. So, yeah. Well, so what were your thoughts on Revolutions? You can go through the whole card. It wasn't that big of a card. What was your thoughts on each match? To end off
I
this
think
live here?
all around it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. Honestly, in the beginning, I was like brushing off the Iron Man match. I wasn't too crazy about it, but then when it actually all went down, I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" Especially like the entrance
Right.
from MJF, the wrestling aspect of all of it. It was just all around a really, 5 out of 5 match. And then even like the House of Black match, I was surprised that they won, and I was hoping they won, but I didn't think it was really gonna actually go down.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I'll see. Honestly, forgot about that match because everyone keeps talking about the main event and Mox Hangman match. You forget about that match there, which was a great match. So, yeah. So, I want to thank you for coming on, man. Hopefully, everyone here goes and follows him. Hopefully, this got you some followers, got you some people coming in and checking out your latest episode, episode 3. Hopefully, everyone's going to check out your upcoming show with HOF, House of Figs. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on here. We had a little difficulty at the end, but that's all right. That's normally happens. So, yeah, thank you, and thanks everyone
Thank
that
you for
watched.
having me.
Alrighty, guys,
Thanks, you
man.
too.
Have a good night. See you guys.